Flashback to the time Tommy Tall Tales Tallarico told a little story about Guitar Hero.
So I was involved with the first couple of Guitar Hero games, Guitar Hero 1, Guitar Hero 2, and then in Guitar Hero 3, or the next game, the first band Guitar Hero that came out was Aerosmith. Wonder if there was any coincidence. And so, it was funny. I remember, let me see, it was me. The first time I showed him Guitar Hero, I think it was me, Steven, Joe Perry, and Lenny Kravitz. And it was backstage. I think we were in Tampa, Florida, and I'd flown out for the show. And I'm a big Yankees fan, and I'm friends with a lot of the Yankee players and the Steinbrenner family. And so the Yankee spring training is in Florida as well. And so, and I think spring training was going on. And so I brought a bunch of very famous, I don't want to name names, but I brought a bunch of very famous New York Yankee baseball players with me. And Lenny Kravitz was opening, and I was showing him Guitar Hero. I think it was. I just remember Lenny Kravitz being in the room. I can't remember if it was on tour or not, because for some reason I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, and they were seeing it for the first time, and they were blown away. And there was no Aerosmith in it in the first game, and I said, look, I said, Steven, I've called, because he doesn't control like his back catalog. That's Columbia, Sony, right?
Right.
And he says, there's no, why isn't there any? Because I tried to do a deal. They wanted too much money, and and he dials up the phone. The president of Columbia. He goes, "This is my cousin. He's video game composer, greatest composer, blah, 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 video game. He's got this game, Guitar Hero. Make sure we're in the damn game for Guitar Hero 2. Put him on," and he puts me on the phone with him. It was pretty funny. And lo and behold, Guitar Hero 2 had Aerosmith in it. But then we took it a level further, and I said, let's screw having a song. Let's do a whole game based on Aerosmith. And they did the motion capture.
So according to Tommy, he introduced Joe Perry and Steven Tyler to Guitar Hero. At this moment, Steve Tyler called the president of Columbia Records, demanding that they be put in the game. Tommy then got past the phone and made a deal. Tommy then had the idea for Guitar Hero Aerosmith. Let's see what Jody Coglianese, probably pronouncing that wrong, the actual director of Guitar Hero 3, said when asked how the game came to be.
It just kind of happened. At the end of Guitar Hero 3, we were trying to get an Aerosmith master track. We contacted Aerosmith for it, and Joe Perry's son actually played a lot of Guitar Hero, so that kind of sparked some interest with Joe Perry and the band. They just knew this was an up-and-coming thing, and getting into Guitar Hero was a new way to hit the mass market and get your music out there to new audiences. So when we got that master track, meetings happened, some phone calls happened, some talking happened, and the next thing we knew, we were doing an Aerosmith game.
Or how about when the same question was asked to the game designer, Alan Flores?
Aerosmith seemed destined to connect with Neversoft. As the game developer was fine-tuning Guitar Hero 3, company president Joel Jewett was listening to the cover version of Aerosmith's Same Old Song and Dance, and said the cover singer didn't sound like Steven Tyler, said the game's lead designer. So we went back to get the original master, and in one day Joe Perry found out about it and was super excited. He got the masters, and that sort of established the relationship.
Same story. How about Joe Perry, actual member of Aerosmith?
I walked through the den where we have the video games usually set up, and I noticed the controller had an oddly familiar shape, and I heard some rockin' music, and I said, "What's going on? What is this?" Roman explained it to me, and I played it a little bit and said, "This is fantastic. Do they have any Aerosmith songs on it?" And the first game didn't. I called my manager and said, "This is fantastic. How come we're not involved in this?" And ever since then, I've been pushing to be as involved in the game and the movement as well.
Interesting. So according to the game designer, director, and Joe freaking Perry himself, Joe Perry's son introduced him and the band to the game. Joe Perry contacted his manager asking about the game and then pushed to be in the game. The relationship was established solidly when Neversoft president Joel Jewett contacted them to get the masters. Strange how all their three stories are consistent, and yet Tommy's version of events, or even a mere mention of his name, are nowhere to be found. To me, it sounds like Tommy read how Joe Perry found out about it, and twisted it to include himself, and then take credit for every aspect of what happened.